甚至我连彩礼都不要。
Do you believe it? I don't ask for a car, a house, or even a dowry. Yet no one dares to marry me. I am 38 years old, 1.65 meters tall. I manage my figure well, and I think I look pretty good. I have a strong-willed personality that has been with me since I was a child. My family is from a very backward, remote little county in Hebei. I graduated from middle school, started working at 18, and now I run my own business. After 20 years of hard work, I've bought my own house and car, and have some savings. Honestly, I'm not afraid of being laughed at. Someone as outstanding as me can't find a boyfriend. Friends often tell me, "Why are you in such a hurry? With your conditions, you're bound to find an excellent husband. We know you're single not because you can't find someone, but because you don't want to." But to be honest, I really envy those who have someone to pick them up after work, give them gifts during holidays, and accompany them on trips during vacations. It's not that my standards are too high, or that I don't want to find someone. To be transparent with everyone, from the age of 20 until now, I've gone on 69 blind dates, but I haven't met anyone I can marry. I have a car, a house, and savings, but the men I meet just can't accept my condition. When I mention it, I feel really upset inside. Tell me, is my condition really that excessive? I grew up with my grandmother and grandfather. A few years ago my grandfather passed away, and now only my grandmother is left. I can't let her live alone, especially now that she's elderly and showing signs of dementia. I'm afraid something will happen to her, so I must keep her by my side. That's my condition for marriage. But no one can accept it. One man even told me he would pay me 1 million yuan in dowry if I sent my grandmother to a nursing home. I immediately refused and said, "My grandmother went through so much for me. Even if you gave me 1 million, or even 10 million, I wouldn't marry you." This kind of gratitude cannot be measured in money. Without my grandmother, I wouldn't be who I am today. To be honest, I don't even want to get married anymore. I think marriage has become too pragmatic, and it really breaks my heart. No matter what, I will never abandon my grandmother. Even if I remain single forever, I will not leave her behind. I don't think I'm asking too much. There aren't as many beautiful and wealthy people as I once thought, and I learned this the hard way. Looking back, I realized that I was too demanding, always expecting to find the perfect man, handsome, successful, with great conditions, and someone I deeply loved. But the reality is different, and now I understand that. I'm 35 and still single. For a long time I kept asking myself, why haven't I married yet? Why is it so hard to find someone? I always said my demands weren't that high, but honestly they were. I know I'm not perfect and I don't have great advantages. Even so, I kept expecting someone who was amazing in every way. Now I realize that if a man is that perfect, he's probably already married or wouldn't be looking at someone like me. That's the truth, and it took me a while to accept it. I remember rejecting men who, looking back now, would have made great partners. Some had their own homes, were kind, and were willing to treat me well. But I always found something wrong, always thought I deserved better. I didn't want to compromise on anything: height, appearance, financial stability, even things like family history. But now I see that these rigid demands just pushed away real opportunities for happiness. I've learned that if someone has great conditions in every way, they might not be willing to build a solid life with me. And there aren't that many amazing people in the world. Most people choose someone they connect with, even if the conditions aren't ideal. Or sometimes they settle for good conditions even if the love isn't as intense. Today, I know that finding someone with great conditions whom I deeply love is like winning the lottery. It's luck. And I was naive to think I could wait for that forever. I'm just an ordinary person. And for ordinary people like me, finding someone who's willing to treat us well and build a peaceful, stable life is already a gift. That's the biggest lesson I've learned, to accept reality and understand that happiness lies in the small moments and the right choices, not in waiting for a fairy tale. If I could go back in time, I would have made different choices. Today, I try to appreciate what's still within my reach.
朋友们，我是80年，未婚，没有娃。
Friends, I was born in 1980, never married. No kids, and this year I turned 44. Today, I won't hide. I'll open my heart and share everything. In the beginning, I believed in the idea of better single than settling for less. And now I've reached the point where no one is interested in me anymore. I think I'll be single for the rest of my life. Do I regret it? Is living alone truly happy? I'll tell you everything without holding back. I bet, after hearing this, you won't believe it. I remember when I first graduated from college. Just starting my career. Back then, I was extremely confident. Besides work, I loved dressing up and going out. I had so many suitors at the time. And one, in particular, stood out. He came from a family similar to mine. Was practical. Had a stable job. A great personality. Was willing to spend money on me and listen to me. He even wanted to marry me. But I thought he was too boring. Not romantic. And didn't know how to please me. So I broke up with him. There was also a rich second-generation guy who confessed his feelings for me. Was genuinely sincere. Bought me luxury bags. Beauty products. Even gifted me a car worth over 500,000 yuan. When he proposed, he gave me a huge diamond ring. And a dowry of over 1 million. But at that time, I still felt he wasn't good enough for me. He was too smooth. Had too many female friends. Which made me feel insecure. I asked him to delete all the women's contacts from his phone. If he wanted to marry me. But he said I was crazy. And eventually left me. Angry, I swore I'd find someone even better than him. Someone incredible who treated me well. To show him I'm still in demand. So, I held on to the mindset of better single than settling for less. I waited and waited but was never satisfied. My parents always advised me to lower my standards, saying I wasn't that special. But I didn't listen. If a man wasn't attractive, financially stable, or kind to me, I wouldn't consider him. I never imagined that. To this day I still haven't found anyone. What's wrong with me? After several failed blind dates, I started to wake up to reality. But it's too late now. I'm over 40. Considered an old spinster. With no market value and no appeal. If I wanted to, I could still get married. But I can't accept having waited this long. Life is getting worse. I don't dress up anymore. I don't enjoy socializing. My job is temporary. I don't have much savings. And I pay for my own pension. When I get old, who knows if it will be enough to live on. Honestly, it's a sad life. Sometimes I think, if I hadn't been so picky, if I had married the rich guy, my life would be comfortable now. Maybe my child would already be in college. And my parents wouldn't be so worried. Wouldn't criticize me so much. They wouldn't feel ashamed of having a daughter like me. I admit it. I regret it. I won't pretend anymore. But despite everything, my parents haven't given up on me. They keep trying to convince me to get married. Saying if I keep being too picky, I'll end up alone forever. Honestly, I'm scared of that too. That's why recently I started going on dates again. Now, even men 10 years older than me are acceptable. I plan to get married this year. I'm sharing my story. To warn those who are too arrogant and unaware of their own reality. Get married while you can. Hello, everyone. I'm just an ordinary worker. Lately, things have been really tough. Do you know why? Because my parents keep telling me that kids of people my age are already grown up and even going to school. They complain that I didn't listen to their advice when I was younger. A few years ago, when I was 20, they started introducing me to potential partners. They say, if you had listened to us back then, your child would already be in kindergarten by now. Now, it's not you choosing the guys. It's them choosing you. In the countryside, marrying well isn't as easy as it seems, especially at my age. They say that, around here, Women my age are already considered leftover women. Oh my God, being called a leftover woman at 25? I think. Nowadays, many women get married at 30 or even later. But they argue that those women have money and careers. And ask why I think I can compare myself to them. We live in a society of gender equality. So why not? To be honest. Nowadays, I don't even have the privilege of choosing. It's others who choose me, not the other way around. My mom always says, if someone good, someone suitable shows up, just marry them quickly. Don't wait anymore. If you keep waiting and get close to 30, it'll be really hard to find someone. By then, even your two brothers will have gotten married. And you'll still be at home. Oh my God, does turning 30 mean I won't be able to get married anymore? I refuse to believe that. Why should I wait until I'm 30 to get married? I wonder what my mom will say then. She says it's my fault. But honestly, I don't blame anyone. I think things should just happen naturally. Some things can't be forced. And I'm not trying to force anything. Honestly, I feel like marriage takes away freedom. For me, being on my own is great. But, of course, everyone has their own perspective. For example, my sister got married early. Now I'm 28. And her child is already 10. She had kids when she was 17 or 18. My parents always compare me to her. Look at your sister, she's only 2 or 3 years older than you. But she already has a 10-year-old child. If you keep going like this, when your nephew gets married, you'll still be single at home, becoming a leftover woman or a nun. Maybe they're right, maybe not. I think following your own heart and finding someone who truly matches you is more important. Following your parents' advice doesn't always guarantee happiness. That's why I'm looking for something that makes me happy and feels right. But I have to admit, this constant pressure is really annoying. Lately, work hasn't been going well either. And I keep hearing these complaints all the time. My head even hurts. Sometimes I think, better not talk about it anymore, or I'll just get sadder.
I had no idea so many people had such negative opinions about leftover women. It's like they're being attacked by a mob. It's terrifying. What exactly did these leftover women do to anger everyone and make them so furious? I've summarized what people have been saying over the past few days. Leftover women have standards that are too high, are overly demanding, always picking and choosing. They lack self-awareness, think they're better than they really are stubborn and inflexible. These seem to be the general impressions people have of leftover women. So, whenever they encounter one, they don't hesitate to criticize, using every word in their arsenal. But who are the people attacking leftover women? Some of them are married women, probably because they feel a certain sense of superiority over them. Another group is married men, who often just want to stir up trouble. Maybe they feel their wives were hard to win over, and are afraid leftover women might influence other women, making things more complicated at home, especially with housework and having kids. And let's be honest, it's not easy to find another wife as they get older. Finally, the largest group, I think, is older single men. These men have likely been rejected by leftover women during matchmaking, have gotten hurt, and unable to express their frustrations in real life. Vent everything online, attacking leftover women whenever they see them. But are older single women wrong? Or are older single men? The real issue lies in the times we live in. One netizen said something very insightful. Back in the day, all you needed to get married was a bicycle and a radio. Then it became a refrigerator and a TV. Later, an air conditioner and a color TV. Now, it's a car and a house. This is the result of societal development and progress. And it's unfair to blame leftover women for it. Older single men and women belong to the same group. They are similar. People facing the same struggles. Even if, in the end, they don't end up together. They shouldn't attack or hate each other. What do you think? When I was 30 years old and single with 50,000, some people in the comments said, it's not that I don't want to get married. It's that there's no rich and handsome guy paying the bill. I want a 30-year-old man. Foreign. Not materialistic and not expecting me to pay. I want your late singlehood and being a single woman. This reflects how society views single women. If on TV someone asks me, why didn't you marry this guy? I would say, I'm incompetent. I couldn't. And that would end the conversation. When you start telling the truth, saying I don't want to, they will ask, do you like women? If you say no, they'll say, then what happened? Did you suffer a lot from a relationship? If you say that's not it, they'll give you that sad, mysterious smile, as if they can't understand. In some people's minds, there are only two options, either you're dating or you're not. They can't comprehend anything else. I don't want that to be an obstacle. It's not that I don't want it, it's the reality. Don't fool yourself by making simple comparisons. In real life, few people get into the top universities. But there are many others who end up in lesser schools. Not everyone likes to study. Sometimes, when you're so ordinary and still try to challenge others, they still don't appreciate you? Well, then it's best for each to go their own way, without interfering. A wise person doesn't stray from love, but takes care of their bank balance. In the end, we can't generalize. Good intimate relationships really help mutual growth. But they are rare. And they're things you find by chance, not by searching. So, the best thing is to live your life well. That's more important than anything else.
The term golden warriors, often used in a derogatory manner, refers to women who remain single as they age, becoming a marginalized group in society for various reasons. In a society where, theoretically, the ratio of men to women should be balanced, women typically shouldn't have difficulty finding a partner. As long as their expectations are not excessive, most of them would be able to marry. However, the concept of "I'd rather cry in a BMW than laugh on a bicycle" has caused anxiety in many higher-class women, leading them to develop an unrealistic view of what a successful relationship should be. Due to their good looks, these women often find themselves in a position where they expect to find an ideal partner, someone who meets a standard that is often difficult to reach. Their criteria are largely the same: tall, rich, and handsome men, over 1. 80 meters tall, belonging to the second generation of wealthy families, good-looking, financially carefree, and enjoying a luxurious lifestyle. The problem is that by focusing so much on external and material characteristics, they end up distancing themselves from relationships based on emotional affinity, companionship, and mutual respect. Many end up becoming victims of this distorted mentality, with the idea that their happiness will only be complete when they achieve a certain social status, through an idealized partner. As a result, many let life pass by, waiting for the perfect person who never arrives. This type of mentality has corrupted the views of many women and fed a culture of worshipping money and appearance, where personal value and human qualities are often underestimated. Moreover, this social standard also imposes excessive pressure, causing many of these women to feel unable to find a partner who truly meets all these expectations. The great irony is that often what these women really desire, a life filled with love and happiness, ends up being overshadowed by the relentless pursuit of material standards that, in the end, don't guarantee what really matters. Over the years, this leads them into a cycle of self-sabotage where the search for the perfect partner becomes a barrier to healthy relationships. This is even more serious when we observe that many of them end up alone as they age, realizing too late that for a relationship to truly work, it takes much more than material goods and appearance. What do you think about this dilemma? If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. I'll see you in the next one.